Welcome back to Around the Campfire with AmeriCamp, the ultimate summer camp podcast. I'm here today with Molly, and we're going to be having a little chat about her experience at camp, top tips, tricks for your summer over at camp with AmeriCamp as well. So do you want to start off by introducing yourself and telling us which camp you went to?
Yeah, of course. So, hello everyone, I'm Molly. Last summer was my first summer at camp. I went to Camp Kon-O-Kwee Spencer in Pennsylvania, where I'm returning again this year. My role last year was just a general counsellor, but this year I'm taking a bit more of a jump into the pond and I'm taking the media coordinator role on, which I am so excited for.
So how was your summer? What was your favourite part? What were some of your highlights of the summer?
So my summer went so much better than I originally thought. I think before you go, the nerves kick in and I just found myself overthinking everything. I think especially when you're like on your way to the airport, you think, oh my God, is this the right decision? Have I made the right
100%.
choice? But as soon as I arrived to camp, within the first 5 minutes, I was like, nope, this is the right decision. When I first got to camp, it was like so much bigger than I thought. I think on the pictures you think, oh, it's so small, it's gonna be fine. But my camp was so big, we had to like go on golf carts and stuff to go on the tours, which was insane. I loved that. But the memories that I made were just incredible. But to make those memories with friends that I didn't even know this time last year, I think makes it even crazier. But also to like grow, like I grew as a person more than I ever thought. I think that your confidence is going to grow and stuff. But yeah, I thought that was a great part of it. Finding my favourite part is such a hard thing because I loved so many different parts of camp and the whole experience. But if I had to pick one, I think it's the friendships that I made. The friends you make at camp are so different to any other friendships that you have. Being able to bond with people over similar things but different. Like I felt like we all got to know each other so quickly. And I think I never thought that I'd find such good friends that I didn't go to school with, I didn't meet at work or I didn't live by. The long distance can be super hard. My best friend lives in Australia, which is like so hard. But like being able, like she came to see me in November and like I'm going to see her in December and it's going to like make it so much easier. But going back to camp this year definitely made it easier knowing I'm going to be able to go back and see all these people as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the bonds that you make at camp are so special and so unlike any other friendships that you make ever. I think, like you said, that point that you made about sort of the shared experiences and those shared memories sort of bringing you together, I think there is something so special about that. And just doing something so special with these people that like by the end of camp 8 weeks ago you never met before and suddenly they're like the closest people in your life. It's there's something really like special and unlike any other friendship that you'll ever have, for sure.
Absolutely.
Fab. Well, I know you said you were feeling a little bit nervous before you went to camp. Did you have any sort of specific expectations of camp before you went? Was there anything that surprised you once you got there?
So I don't know if anyone else is like me, but before I went, I watched so many different videos. I think you try and like prepare yourself for all these things that are going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think I understood that like every camp is so different. Although there's like similarities, every camp has their own little like different like routines and stuff. My biggest expectation of camp was just to have fun and whilst make memories with people that hopefully would be my friends for life. Because I was a bit nervous about this, but I also wanted to make sure that I bonded with my campers. Because at the end of the day, the whole point of going to work out a summer camp is to make sure the campers have a great summer. Although I was nervous about this, my campers got so excited to see me. Even if I had like 1 hour off, they were like, whoa, Molly's back. And I was like, I've literally been gone for like 1 hour. But yeah, like being able to now have friends all over the world, have experience with them, even if I don't see some of them ever again, like the memories I have will always stick. And I think there'll be stories I'll be able to tell my children, which is actually insane. But I also wanted to say that although the days can be really long, it never really felt like it. I never really thought, oh, when is my break? Oh, when is this? When is that? I think the days just go so quick. And even though it's 9 weeks, like it's gonna fly by. Before you know it, you are gonna be coming home, and it's so sad. I was so sad when I got home last year.
100%. Like it is. You do sort of have that, like, you get there and you're like, oh my God, it feels like I'm going to be here for such a long time. And then literally blink of an eye, you're like back home. And it's like, how did that happen? Where did that
so quickly
go? Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah, like really glad that you sort of went into it with really good expectations and it lived up to that. I think the point you made about sort of bonding with your campers as well is really important because I think it's something that I guess it doesn't cross a lot of people's minds that like you do have a whole group of children that you're going to have to like bond with. But I think it is really nice the moment you sort of like meet them and they're so excited to meet you and they just think it's the coolest thing in the world that you've come so far to like look after them for the summer and be their counsellor.
Absolutely, they love my accent. Like, you were always talking about like random words. Like, can you say that again? Because that was so cool.
It's so funny. I used to get water bottle a lot. Like the kids use water bottle. Like,
what do I need to take with me? And I'm like, oh, your water bottle. They're like, wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, it is so funny. Like the novelty of it definitely like helps you bond with them for sure. Like 100%.
Absolutely.
Fab. Well, in terms of getting hired at your camp, then what was that sort of process like for you?
Yeah, it was like super simple. I think it's more daunting than actually like the whole process actually happening. So I went to a camp fair in London, which I highly recommend because I enjoyed speaking to like the different camp directors. And I think it's a great opportunity to let them tell you about their camp, but also you probably have like 1,000 questions, but you just don't know what ones to ask and what to say. So I did get a few different offers, which I was a bit blown away by, but I took a bit of time to like research a bit more into what I wanted, because I think you've got to remember you're out there for like 9 weeks. You need to enjoy. It needs to be all like what you want from it. And I wanted to teach archery, and that was what my camp offered the most. But also I'm so grateful that I picked the camp I did, because I also thought it was really reassuring that I met my camp director at the camp fair, but then she was also there when I arrived. She was a familiar face. So I just thought the whole day was great because I got to see what different camps offered, but also like maybe I would have learned, okay, that camp does this, does my camp do? Like, it was a question I could ask then the next person. But I thought the whole process was super easy.
Yeah, that's so lovely. I think camp fairs are such a good way to get hired because, like you said, it is having that familiar face. Like those first, like when you first arrive at camp, that is like the most daunting moment ever. You like step off the bus and you're suddenly there, and to just see somebody that you've actually like spoken to face makes such a difference.
Absolutely. It can be really overwhelming when you arrive at camp, but like just one face was just enough for me.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And as well, like having that opportunity to, like you said, like chat to other camps, like find out, sort of get a vibe for what is out there. And also having that opportunity, I always say to people, like interview the camp back. Like they're interviewing you, but you also have to figure out if you want to be there for like 2 months. Interview them back, ask loads of questions. I think the camp fair is like such a great way to do that, 100%.
Yeah. I think the camp directors like it that you're also interested. Like my camp director says that she likes people asking her questions because it shows that they're intrigued and want to know a bit more about it.
Yeah, 100%. It always looks good when you've got a question to ask. They're like, oh, so they have been listening. Fantastic. Brilliant news. Well, yeah, sort of moving on to the next question then. What was your favourite camp tradition?
Okay, so at my camp on a Thursday, we have like a ceremony type of thing called a candlelight. So it's when the whole camp come together around the pond. And then, so our campers only come for 1 to 2 weeks at my camp. So then we'd find, like, so we would spend some time in that evening, like listening and talking about our reflection of the week. So one camper from each village would do a speech, and it's quite an emotional but heartwarming like evening, because I was really nervous about this before I went. I was like, oh my goodness, like I'm gonna have to sit there and I don't know what I'm doing, but it was actually the highlight of my week by the end of summer, and I'm so excited for that again on Thursdays. But hearing it, like how much fun the campers had, and like if they'd made any friends, anything was like special to them. Like sometimes they'd mention you and they'd be like, oh, I had such a great time at archery, or I made a bracelet with so-and-so. And I think like that's just a great memory at the end of the week, just to close off the week and listen about how great, like you might not think, oh, I did this, I did that, but the campers remember such special things.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's nice to have that time to actually reflect as well, because like you said before, camp goes by so quickly and it's so easy to sort of just like fly through it and not ever have that chance to like sit down and reflect on what you've done that week, and as well, like you mentioned, reflecting on the impact that you've made on the kids, like hearing them mention you and hearing the difference that you've made. It makes, even if you had like a really tiring week, like it makes it so worth it. Or like it's your first week and you found it really hard, or you've been dealing with homesickness or something, hearing that you've made a campus week is like the most special thing in the world. And it's so lovely to have that moment of like, oh no, that's why I'm here. It's all worth it, 100%.
It can get you through the next week then.
Definitely. And also just to have like a quiet like hour or two goes a long way at camp, where everyone's just sat down listening to each other.
It's so peaceful.
Yeah, which doesn't happen a lot at camp. You don't get peaceful very much at camp.
No, but it is nice on a Thursday just to relax.
Yeah. Oh, that's so lovely. That's so lovely. So sort of moving on from like your kind of camp experience then, did you do any traveling after camp last summer? And if not, have you got stuff planned for this summer?
Yeah, so last summer I travelled for 10 days. Now, originally I thought 10 days wasn't going to be enough, but I did so much. So my camp is based on like the east side of America, but we flew over to West Coast and to California. So we went to San Francisco, LA and San Diego. I feel like they're standard places that most people go after camp.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did after camp.
I think you bump into so many people, but you think they definitely went to camp. Like, you just know they went to camp, you know. So there was 10 of us that travelled, which actually worked out really well because we could do Airbnbs, which was so much cheaper. But the highlight of my time at California was definitely hiking above the Hollywood sign. Like that was like a teenage dream for me. I never thought that I'd even go and see the Hollywood sign, but to like go and like, it took like hours. I don't know if you've ever done it, but like you go right up to the top and it's so high, but it was amazing. The view of it was insane. And then I got quite emotional when I walked across the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, because I think you always see it in the movies, you see it in the films, and then I actually walked across it. So yeah, I ticked off a lot of my bucket list when I travelled last summer. I changed my mind so much. I was like, no, I'm not travelling, then I am travelling. I know I'm not travelling, then I am. But I'm so glad that I did travel, because I think it's just the perfect way to end your summer. Like, saying goodbye to all your friends at camp is so hard. So be able to like say goodbye a couple, maybe like a week after, to like maybe the closest friends, it just makes it so much worth it. And I also found that I used the money that I like earned at camp to go and travel. And I think a lot of people do that. It's the easiest way to do it. Like, I didn't have to save or anything. I just used all the money and I used it all to travel.
Yeah, it works out perfectly. And also I think like as well, sort of taking that opportunity to go traveling, you're definitely very much like, you end camp and it's sad because you said goodbye to people, but you are like on top of the world because you can't really believe that you've done it. So you're absolutely buzzing. You're like, I want to go into the next thing. Like, I'm so excited. So like using that energy to go traveling afterwards, especially when you get like big groups of people. Obviously you went with like 10 people, which is a really nice, like really nice to still be in the big group. And the point that you made about like camp counselor spotting as well, like it's so easy in that travel period.
Crazy, especially on those overnight buses. I feel like everybody's on an overnight bus because it's the cheapest way. I was a bit nervous about that, but it was actually amazing because we woke up like watching the sunrise into LA, and I will always remember that. Even though it was like $14 to do this bus, which was crazy. But it was great, way cheaper than a flight.
yeah, that's actually such a good like hack as well. I think a lot of people assume that there aren't a lot of public transport options in the US, but overnight buses are definitely the way to go.
Well, and you save a night in the hotel as well. Like, I learned so much from the people that I travelled with, because I haven't done much solo travelling before I did this. So it was nice to like learn from them, different hacks and stuff. And then for this summer, I'm hoping to do a bit more East Coast as well. I've done like Miami and stuff already, but maybe a bit of like Washington DC, Boston, and stay over like this side. And I was hoping to maybe go to Canada as well, but we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how far the money stretches afterwards, really.
Absolutely. See how many M&Ms I buy at Walmart.
Yeah. How much money I spend on snacks while I'm there, and then we can reevaluate afterwards.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, sort of tying up onto the last couple of questions then.
Perfect.
What would you say to anyone that is thinking about applying for AmeriCamp for next summer?
My simple 2 words would be to do it. Just do it, absolutely. Having nerves before you go, like I said before, is so natural. Like, I still have some nerves for this summer, but I think they just change. Like, more of like, I have an expectation for this summer, but I'm so excited to meet all the new staff. So 100% just do it. You will like gain so much confidence. Like, I never knew how much confidence I was going to grow from like jumping away from all your family and spending so much time away from them, but I knew how much like I was making them so proud whilst I was doing it as well. But also to see like and be the best role model for your campers. Like, I think before you go, like you said earlier, you don't realise how much of an impact you're actually going to have on these kids. Like, these kids turn up and they are so excited to see you, especially because we're international. They think it's so cool that you've flown all this way just to look after them, really. That's how they see it. But I'm like, no, I'm doing it as like a whole experience. And then also like, if you're worried about homesickness, one way I like linked with them was, okay, that's like, I'm also homesick sometimes as well, and I think they think, oh, if she's homesick and she's so much older than me, then I'm gonna be okay, and that's some way of linking with them. But also, because we're international staff, it isn't always guaranteed that we will return, so I never guaranteed to my campus last year that I was gonna come back, but to see their excitement is gonna be insane. Like, I leave in 10 days and I cannot wait to see them. But also, if you have any questions, definitely just reach out. I think there's so many of us across like the social media platforms that, like, I love talking about camp. Like, if you have a question, I'll talk about it all day. There's not a day that I don't talk about camp. And then if you're looking for summer 2025, definitely, you have so much time to research into camps, and this is the prime time to find out information, because camps are promoting now, like, camp starting, and then you'll also find people who are at the camps will post across their social medias about their time at camp. So yeah, I definitely recommend TikTok is a great place to find out a little bit more. If you're a bit apprehensive, just research into them. I'm sure there'll be people that'll be more than happy to talk about their time at camp.
100%. That's like the number one thing, is camp people will never shut up about camp. Once you've been to camp, you won't stop talking about camp.
It is my personality.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Prime example. Like, literally every single one of us that works in the office now, we've made it our full-time job to talk about camp. So.
I mean, I don't blame you. Like, that is such a good way to spend your time.
It is. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. But yeah, definitely, like, asking other people questions is like the number one best way to get an idea of what you're doing. And you made a really good point as well, like, looking at socials over this summer, you're going to get those real-time updates, real-time content. You're going to see it happening right in front of your eyes. It's literally the best time to be signing up.
But I also love that, because like, I know how much like camps differ, and like, I love seeing other people's experiences, like even other people's experiences from my camp, because everybody has a different like perspective of it. So it's great to see like the different versions of it as well. Like, my For You page is basically just camp.
Yeah. Oh, literally. And that's the best thing in the world. You like sit down on your time off and you're scrolling and you're like, everyone's having so much fun. This is great.
It's crazy, but I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. We love the craziness. That's one of the big things with camp. You have to embrace the crazy, and it's all
absolutely. Just embrace every moment. Like, if someone's doing a dance, join in, do it. Because you know what, in a couple of weeks you'll look back and go, I love that.
Absolutely. You'll be like sat back in the UK in the rain and you'll be like, nah, I wish I was back at camp having that dance.
Oh, I had so many moments like that.
Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah, just to sort of tie up, was there anything else you wanted to add? Obviously, feel free to promote some of your socials as well.
Yeah, of course. So I just want to say, like, if you think that you should go for summer 2025, I 100% recommend it. Like, I have never looked back after sending in my application. I literally sent it on like a random Tuesday night. I was like, you know what, I'll just go, I'll do it. It'll be fine. But I absolutely love it. And I love being able to like share my story with other people, because I think it's something that I was looking forward this time last year. The nerves kick in, but you're also really excited. And I think for parents as well, it's good to hear from people that have actually done it, because it's actually a big thing for the parents alongside all of the people that are actually going. My parents were so proud of me, even though they were really nervous and really sad that I was gone. They were so happy that I did it. So yeah, if you want to like hear a bit more about my time at camp and my advice and packing and stuff, my TikTok is moles27. And yeah, I'd be more than happy to answer any more questions or anything you'd like to know. I just love talking about camp.
Amazing. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for telling us all about Camp Molly, and I hope you have the most amazing time at camp this summer.
Thank you so much. I hope
so
you guys
excited
too.
to hear all about it. I'm sure we will. And thank you guys so much for listening. Tune in to our next episode to hear a little bit more about camp. And for now, I hope you all have a lovely summer.